Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers as we're closing in on Monday Night Football. Packers-Saints. Big matchup there. Obviously, the Saints banged up. Packers getting healthier, and we're looking to go ahead and seal that playoff berth here in the 2024 season as we get ready to step into 2025 the right way. Before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description that'll send you to their website, theticketking.com, where you can register as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the most trusted ticket source for the Green Bay Packers, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, gents, we're ready to dive into some more Packers Saints talk here and get into a bunch of different topics, man. We got the NFL Pro preview we're going to hit on a little bit, kind of look at some of the next-gen insights, that type of thing. So we'll see what's cracking over there. I'm going to try to keep this adjusted to where people's not getting covered up by the messages in the group here. I don't know why all of a sudden it decided to do that to us, but we'll keep that updated if we can. Half understands. He knows what's going on here, right? First things first, though, check this out, guys. We've got our PTA Players of the Week from last week voted on by the listeners. Josh Jacobs and Edgerrin Cooper are your – I didn't even change the week, so don't even worry about that. It's the PTA Players of the Week there against Seattle. Obviously, Edgerrin Cooper had a coming-out party. Hopefully he stays on the field more often. We'll see how that shakes out. And Josh Jacobs just continues to impress. Even though they really loaded the box and shut down Josh Jacobs, still made a huge, huge impact in the passing game, obviously, with that play that we're going to show over and over and over again right there, right? So pretty cool that was coming out of the backfield on a little circle route, man. Pretty neat. So do you guys agree, disagree? How do you feel about this in terms of the PTA Players of the Week?
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's not even debatable with Edgerrin Cooper. I think maybe on the offensive side, you could have argued Jordan Love had a pretty good game. Christian Watson had a hell of a game. So there were a couple names there offensively, but I think Edgerrin Cooper just ran away with the defensive player of the week for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Jacob? You agree with these, or do you think anybody else might have been worthy of the award here?
Yeah, I think this is about right. Especially if you judge that first half, just the way the game got started. Jacobs was shot out of a cannon, man. And credit to the defense at the second half. They made some adjustments and, like you said, brought some guys up in that box and were able to kind of stifle what looked like it could be a career type day for Jacobs. The way he started running, man, he was, just looked amazing. But yeah, I think this is definitely fair. Cooper, what a monster. If we don't get him on the field more, that's going to be pretty much a crime. So
yeah, I agree, man. And it comes down to how do you want to do that, right? That's the big thing. I think we would all agree, we've talked about it, that it sounds like Eric Wilson is going to wear the green dot. They're not in a rush to give Cooper the green dot. We'll see how long Quay's out. In a perfect world, it'd be Quay wearing the green dot, Edgerrin Cooper kind of playing free, but still, being on the field every nickel snap is what I would like to see. I'd like to see zero rotation with the nickel backers, and if you want to do a little rotation, give a breather, do it in your base sets, that type of thing, which – another thing, too, it's kind of off topic, but I've noticed this year is the defensive line change in crucial situations. It's like, Tim, we've talked about it all year. You got that rotation of the defensive line, and obviously the Packers are notorious for that. They had been long before Jeff Hafley got here, right? When you see how they rotate the defensive line in and out, and then you get into a crucial situation like they're toward the end of the game, I think it was against the Lions, and you didn't have Gary on the field, you didn't have Kenny on the field. There's a bunch of people that wasn't on the field, right? And it's like they don't look at it like, hey, let's get our best guys out there in the situation. It's just we're all one collective unit. Let's keep this rotation rolling. You know what I'm saying? Does it feel like that?
Fresh bodies, fresh legs, as much as possible, especially trying to grind out a game against a tough opponent. But I can also see – there's a guy. I can also see the logic of the more you're doing that, sometimes you can get lost in the mix, right? Sometimes you get called and you're on the sideline, and then you don't realize someone wanted you in the game, and then someone else has got to run out there, right? That's like that hockey line switch mentality. Sometimes your personnel can get mixed up, and you got to have your guys head in the game, paying attention. Football, like hockey, is one of those games. You can be on the sideline, doesn't mean you're not involved. You've got to know down and distance situation and your personnel movement. But no, I like the approach. It's kind of even the NASCAR's got to pull in and get a pit stop, right? Change the tires and things like that. So stay in the race, keep fresh legs out there. We've got a good balance of some veteran play up front there, and then we've got a lot of young talent. So it makes sense to keep the rotation moving.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, let's move on to the injury report. Just a quick recap. We hit it last night in case anyone missed the night show. So basically, the Packers are as healthy as they've been in a while. Now, keep in mind, Jordan Morgan was put on IR, so he's not shown on this list. He is done for the year. Jair Alexander, full participation again. We'll see if he passes the speed test today. So we should know by the end of the day. I feel comfortable saying that at the end of the day, guys, if we don't hear that Jair's out, then he's good to go, because that's kind of how it happened last week. It wasn't that Jair just didn't feel like he could go. They did the speed test, didn't think he could get up to game speed, and that was kind of the deal there. So also Corey Ballantyne was limited. Javon Bullard did not participate. Luke Musgrave was limited. Quay Walker did not participate. So the way I'm seeing this is we should know about Ja by the end of the day. I can't imagine that he'll pass the speed test, then not get cleared on game day. That's just me personally. But in terms of Javon Bullard and Quay Walker, I feel really comfortable saying they're out. And there's probably a 50-50 shot that Luke Musgrave plays this week. Jacob, what do you think about that? Anything you disagree with there, or anything I'm missing on the Packers side, man?
No, I mean, I would imagine that's the case there. Just a real quick touchback. I'm weirdly okay with God, why am I spacing on him? Wilson in the mic. Who the heck is it? Wilson.
Eric Wilson. Yeah. Wilson.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I think that I don't want to rush Quay back, and I know Quay's gotten a lot of heat from a lot of fans. Myself was one of them earlier in the year, but his progression was another one of those that I think we need to highlight going on. I mean, Quay was playing the best ball that we've seen Quay play as of late. So it is a little bit of a gut punch to see him have to come out, especially at this time. But I kind of like how we were handling Jair, making sure that he's not coming back until he's 100% good to go, because we need him obviously pushing through the end of the season into the playoffs, hopefully making a run. I think we should probably handle that with Quay and be okay with the fact that we've got some good, obviously not a great linebacker squad, but I think for what they're been asked to do, I think they've been performing decently well. And, I think when we get Jair back, that secondary that, again, has just been performing better than I think we expected, that's just going to be a massive catalyst. I'm excited to see how the defense responds once we got Ja back.
I think Jacob makes a great point there, Tim. Matter of fact, as I was doing the graphic for the PTA Players of the Week, the last game that Quay played in, he was the Defensive Player of the Week, right? Voted on by the fans. And you guys know our fans are as critical of Quay as anyone. I'm as critical of Quay as anyone. He looked damn good in that ball game, man. He really did. So the thought of him maybe not coming back until he's fully healthy, like, in the playoff hunt, that type of thing. One thing you're trying to determine too, it's awesome that you've got Quay Walker under contract next year, right? You're going to have to make a decision on the fifth-year option, he and Devontae White. Obviously, we've talked about that a little bit. But you've got this little stretch to see what Quay can do in the most important games of his career, right? Like, it's just going to be down the stretch and in the playoffs. How's he going to perform if he can get healthy, obviously? So anything you want to add to that, Tim? I know Quay's your guy for sure, man.
Yeah, man. And it's fair, right? We always say criticize the play, not the player, right? It's not a personal thing. And when he was struggling and playing a little under expectations, it was okay to call it out, give him a little heat, as long as you're fair. And when he's balling out and crushing it, you're drawing attention to that too. And yeah, I think it's sad that he got hurt right when he was kind of hitting his stride, but I'm all for giving him all the time he needs. Like Jacob said, I mean, we don't have the best linebacker room in the NFL or anything, but I'll tell you, all these guys are playing well together, and they find ways to fill in the gaps. Edrin Cooper stepped up huge last week, as we all know. And I think Eric Wilson is a monster when he wants to be, and certainly should have the green dot while Quay's not out there. So, yeah, it's time for guys to step up. McDuff's going to have to step up, Eric Wilson. And we know, we've got Tyron Hopper too. We'd like to see a little bit more of him. Maybe there's a chance in these next couple ball games to get a look at our other young linebacker talent and see what we have. But yeah, man, I
Tim got throttled, didn't he? Did you notice that, Jacob? Is that just me?
Yeah, the hamster stopped running. Oh, there he goes.
You got a little bit of, it looks like a little connection issues over there, Tim. We'll see. And no big deal though, man. You just cut out there at the end. So
I'm sorry about that. I'm stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi. Sorry.
Again, right?
I learned from Jacob, man.
Nick McSwain in the chat said Falcons supposedly cutting Cousins. Pretty sure the owner said he wanted to mimic Green Bay at the quarterback position and saw it through half the season. So
yes. There was talk that he would sit for 3 to 4 years, and they made it about 8 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that directly came from Arthur Blank, Nick. It may have. I'm not saying it didn't, but the media was definitely pushing that narrative, right? Like maybe they're going to take the approach as the Packers took, right? And it's easier said than done, man. You got to have a damn good quarterback, as your starter, if you're really going to have the player sit and you be patient before you try to rush him out there, and B, a starter that your backup, your young quarterback can learn from. That's huge too. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, hey, I called this. Kirk Cousins was going to be garbage this year. I think Kirk Cousins has been a solid quarterback his entire career. I really do. So, from that stance, they're impatient. No doubt about it. Now, Michael Penix is one of those quarterbacks too, though, that it seemed like he was a little bit older, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, because I know Michael Lombardi was pointing out that it was like by the time Kirk Cousins' contract's up, he was going to be like 27 or 28, something like that. But we'll see, man. Listen, we're laughing at him right now, right? But if Michael Penix comes in and he's the next great franchise quarterback, we won't even be talking about that Kirk Cousins signing because they got it right. They got their guy, right? That's the way that'll work for sure. And, of course, we don't care about cap penalty because, at least on this show, because as we've seen in the past, many teams have won the Super Bowl, made it to the Super Bowl with one of the highest cap penalties, right? You've seen the 49ers do it several years in a row. Obviously, the Rams did it, carrying a lot of cap, got them a ring. So really just depends on how you look at it. Nick also said, since Week 10, Love has the highest EPA of any quarterback at 0.45. Next best is Josh Allen at 0.41. So we're talking about, this is week 16, right? So the last 5 weeks, probably 6, including week 10, that Jordan Love has just been as good as anyone in the league. That's pretty crazy. Doesn't surprise me, though.
It's actually crazy if you guys get a chance. I woke up way too early this morning, excited to do the pod. And then I threw on Ryan's podcast just to try to get some information before. And man, I'm telling you, I can't remember what the metrics are. There's kind of a really good standard of measuring a quarterback's capabilities when you minus like the drops, a lot of different situations where it affects the quarterback's rating or his stats, which aren't his fault. And number 1 was Josh Allen. Number 2 was Jordan Love. Number 3 was Lamar Jackson. And I mean, and then there was a fall off. There's no other quarterback. It was like those top 3. And then there was a pretty stiff fall off to the next. And
Speaking of fall off,
I just think that people need to take a step back and realize that Jordan Love just heats up as the world gets colder. When it gets into these winter months, man, the Toyota-thon, have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
That dude just wants himself a Toyota truck, man, with a big old bow on it in the front yard.
We
got the most unrealistic commercial.
Jordan could probably buy a Toyota truck for every day of the week if he wanted to right about now.
Let's go.
We got to get that sponsorship to happen, man. I'm talking about here. Toyota's going to sponsor the show, not Jordan Love. We're not talking about that. So.
Yeah, cool. We can each get a 4Runner. Awesome.
There you go. Good to go. All right, let's see. Anthony in the chat says, nothing like PTA to get my Saturday started. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Prince in the chat says, will be interesting to see the financials if the Falcons cut Cousins. I know he had a ton of guaranteed money in that deal. I want to say it was like $100 million, right? Something like that. Again, it'll be one of those things that everybody makes a big deal out of for about 6 months, and then you'll never talk about it again. And if the Falcons put together a good team, it won't have anything to do with or without that cap penalty.
Arthur Blank at QB1 next year.
Exactly. There you go. That would be interesting, right? With that mustache. You guys ever seen Nacho Libre?
Oh man.
I've
No?
never seen it.
Years
Okay,
ago.
Jake, you need to watch it, bro. It's good. It's good. Do you say you have, Tim?
Yeah, years ago. It's
Okay.
kind of slipped
So
my
there's a
mind.
guy in the
Isn't
crowd.
that Jack Black?
Yeah. There's a
Okay.
guy in the crowd where at the wrestling match, there's this older dude. And he's got a big, thick, he looks just like Arthur Blank, bro. And he's like, I was like, damn, did they get him to play as an extra in this movie? So check it out. If you go to the, I think it's the very first time that Nacho Libre gets in the ring on that movie. You'll see, you'll as soon as he pops up here, oh, that's what he was talking about. You'll get it. So
Starring our very own right guard, Sean Ryan.
there you go. Exactly. Nick McSwain says, was watching some Julius Peppers highlights earlier. Dude was a monster. He was a freak, man. And they said he was an even better person, an even better leader in the locker room. One of those dudes that was violent on Sunday, but just the absolute stand-up human being off the field. Teammates loved him. You know, that's one of the players that Aaron Rodgers was talking about, that when they let him go, it really ticked Aaron off. Was like, we needed that in our locker room, you know. And there were things, whether it was Ted or Goody, at times that you kind of scratch your head and wonder why we did it. Rasul Douglas was one, right?
Sure.
And I know the argument becomes with Rasul, if I remember correctly, it might have been Tucker Kraft that we took with that pick. It doesn't mean you still don't get Tucker Kraft, right? Like there's a number of different things that could happen. You know, we talk about how young the team is, and it's very exciting. Like it's probably the coolest thing about a Packers season is you go in going, all right, we're young. You got to kind of curb the expectations a little bit. And then you get to the playoff point, you're like, wow, we're the youngest team and we're one of the best teams. That's awesome. But then when you have penalties happen, when you have drops happen, things like that, you've got to also run it through the filter. We're the youngest team in the league, right? That stuff's going to happen. So it's cool though, man. Julius Peppers though, he was a dog. You guys remember? You guys got any memories of Julius Peppers? My favorite Julius Peppers highlight was when John Kuhn popped him in the thigh there and allowed Aaron to roll left and throw the touchdown pass to Randall Cobb. My favorite Julius Peppers highlight is actually when he was on the Bears.
When he was with the Bears.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. You guys have.
I can't remember honestly any specific ones, but he was just one of those guys that I think was he one of those tight ends that they claim he was a better basketball player too, like he was just a athletic freak kind of guy.
Yeah, defensive end that could like jump out of the pool and just do. Yeah, he was a freak, man, no doubt. He was definitely a basketball player too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was. Tim, any specific memories? Anything you want to add to the Julius Peppers talk, man? It
was cool to roast him when he went to Chicago. Yes, I do remember that. It's Randall Cobb again. But no, he was a really good teammate. It's so true. Good locker room guy. The team was certainly fun to watch when he was here, and he's kind of one of those guys that you look at, almost like we looked at Charles Woodson in the sense of like a veteran who obviously started his career somewhere else. Played a few years for us and then ultimately bounced around and went back to his original team, right? So I think if Julius Peppers does go into the Hall of Fame, he'll probably go in as a Carolina Panther or something like that. But we'll have that handful of seasons that we had here in Green Bay, and really thought we were going to make a push at a Lombardi a few times there down the stretch. But yeah, Julius Peppers definitely one of my favorites on the defense while he was here.
Yeah. R.E. Ironminer says these guys are peaking at the right time. Patience, waiting on the best Lloyd to show up. Obviously talking about Marshawn Lloyd, the beast Lloyd. I apologize. Marshawn Lloyd to show up. Yeah, that's another one that we should be getting any second now, right? It's kind of surprising he's not been activated yet. That'll help the running back room. What's crazy, too, is like Emmanuel Wilson. I want to get your all's take on this. This is something I've thought for a long time, way back in the Mike McCarthy days, too. Like you see Emmanuel Wilson and how well he plays, right? I mean, he's graded out as like the 9th highest graded running back in the league, according to PFF. A dude that every time he gets a chance, every time he gets a touch, he just seems to always maximize that opportunity. But you don't see him often. And I've always been of the opinion, do you think that the team kind of holds some of these guys back because they know they're going to get him on that whatever reason, a restricted free agent, right? You don't want to blimp his numbers up, his stats up, knowing you don't need them right now. You guys think that's a real thing, or do you think it's just more of, just a specific situation on Sundays? Hey, this team here, we like this look. Jacobs is better out of this look, that type of thing. What do y'all think?
I think there could be truth to both of those statements, right? Or even, we talked about, what do you want to put on tape, right? Not just the numbers, but, how much film do you want your opponents to have on a guy like that? I agree, though. I kind of wish he got the ball a little more. Not to say I want Josh Jacobs to get the ball less, but I certainly think that, you guys know, man, he's always been one of my favorites. I bumped into him a few times last year, got to meet him in person. Good dude. Fought through injury in his rookie season to come back and has really been playing good football for us and steadily is improving and growing his game. But I do think there is logic to that you don't want a guy that you want to keep around. You don't want to audition him for the rest of the league to go snatch him up.
Exactly. It's exactly right. It's almost like you're holding him back a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm wondering that does make sense, kind of like Tim said, how two things can be true at once. I think possibly there could be the Josh Jacobs factor where he's just a beast and he's a workhorse and he doesn't come off the field that often. And that's just simply, there's not many carries left. However, it does throw a little bit of a wrench in the spokes with what Prince is saying. I've noticed Chris Brooks came out of nowhere. I've no idea. It's so funny because my best friend Tony, who I used to do the podcast with, his older brother's name is Chris Brooks, and he is not an athletic specimen by any means. So we'll text each other. You see Chris Brooks catch that, baby? But they seem to trust him. I would argue almost to a fault early in his. Remember, we're like, who is Chris Brooks and why is he in the game when there's 2 minutes left in the fourth? Remember that when I think he had a drop ball or maybe a fumble or something, and people were like, "Who is this guy?" But it showed that they went right back to him in games prior, and he's getting 3, 4, 5 carries a game, right? And
they seem to use Brooks more in the passing game.
Yes,
they're more likely to hand the ball off to Emmanuel Wilson. But yeah, Brooks out of nowhere, right, is just playing really good football.
Yeah.
So it's like a good problem to have yet again for Matt LaFleur, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I got all this young talent. What the hell do I do with it? How do we get, 35 guys on the field every Sunday? It's pretty tough, man.
Yeah, and when they signed him, I remember LaFleur talking about, hey, he can do everything, right? He said, he can pass. He's great in pass pro. He's a great special teams contributor. He can run the football.
He can block
out the backfield. And I immediately kind of rolled my eyes like, well, why is he available? Right. That's initially and then you go and look at his numbers. He was averaging like over 6 yards a carry or something and was very effective. And he came from Miami, if I remember correctly. So obviously coming from Miami, it's a very, very similar system, right? The terminology is pretty much the same. They just like to run a lot more 21 and we like to run a lot of 12 and obviously stay in 11 the majority of the time. So, but Chris Brooks is Matt wasn't lying. People looked at it as coach speak, me being one of those guys, and Chris Brooks to me has done everything they've asked him to do. They really have. He should have had a touchdown catch earlier in the year, but Love threw a ball behind him. I remember that was a little circle route, and he kind of put it on his back hip, and he couldn't haul it in. But if he had hauled that in, he'd have a touchdown catch. And I don't think he scored yet this year, if I remember correctly. Maybe he did. Maybe he did score one. I can't remember. But anyway, let's see here. Harry in the chat says, I love watching that Richard Sherman video of him telling Packer fans how we won't be feared anymore after Rodgers left. Yeah, it's he definitely got roasted over that video too, man. Richard Sherman got in his feelings, no doubt about it. So, it just seems like those former players, whether they played for Seattle or Chicago or Minnesota, whoever it may be.
What's that one guy, Ryan Clark? Is that one who's been talking a lot of crap lately, who just so happened to get torched in the Super Bowl.
Their asses kicked. That's all it is.
It's hilarious, dude. That dude is just such a – and he got raked over the coals. And then he went after Pat McAfee because Rodgers was on his show. And then I don't know if you've seen it. It was like less than 24 hours later. I talked to Pat and we're good. Everything's good there. And I bet it is. Remember he said, I'll see you in South Bend because he was going to be in South Bend. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden I talked to Pat and we're good. Oh.
You hurt me, Brett.
Yeah, that sauce wore off. So what happened there, Hosscat? We know what happened. So let's do this, man. Since we're playing the Saints this week, you guys remember the Saints game last year, week 3, when we played?
Yeah, that was exciting.
That was the
second
coming
half
out party for Jordan Love. At this point in the season, we were like, oh no, we might have made the wrong decision, right? It's like now it's early in the year, obviously, but I want you to look at the score here. 17-0 in the fourth quarter with 12:30 left.
That's terrible.
All right. This is every Jordan Love completion from this point on in that game. There's only like 6 of them. Let's go through and watch them. You know, let's watch how this game progressed in the fourth quarter. Looks like here we're in a dub set, kind of spread out, strong right. That's Musgrave on the field too. Jordan just going to hit a little corner route, nice little shot in the bunker. First down to Jaden Reed. Let's watch it from the box cam. It's just so cool to go back and look at these plays, knowing now He's got the big contract, right? At this point, he didn't. Obviously, there's A.J. Dillon in the game. That feels like that was forever ago, right? But look at Jordan, just kind of a little double hitch, let it go. Good touch on that pass, too, to Jaden Reed. So, obviously, that was a 2nd and 6 play. You're going to move the sticks in the fourth quarter, down 17-0, right? Let's go to the next play. Should have auto-play for us. Now we're in a 1st and 10, 11:59 left in the fourth quarter.
And we're throwing, of course.
Empty set, Trey Wright. Bang, over the middle. First down. Who was that? Was that Wicks? Kind of looked like Wicks. Was that Wicks? Nope, that was Dobby. So Dobbs.
I just caught the ball.
Perfect. I like how they've got the T there. See the T in A.J. Dillon lined up here? Kind of in case they do want to blitz there, they can kind of help chip a little bit, get in the way just a touch. Sits down underneath. What a throw by Jordan. Did you see him thread the needle, boys?
Yes.
That's a beautiful throw. My goodness.
Here's the guy.
Was that almost a no look? No, he was looking. Okay.
Yeah, he was looking, but boy, and look how the ball is like spinning sideways away from the linebacker. You can actually see it. Almost looks like it curves, you know.
Put a little English on that one. I like it.
Anglish, as we say down here, right? All right, next play. This is a 3rd and 10 play, all right? And these are just the throws, so that's you probably ran the ball a couple times. You end up in 3rd and 10. Again, we're going empty, right? And it looks like we've got Patrick Taylor flexed out wide at the bottom. So this is an empty 11 look. We're going to go Trey left with the tight end, and that's Musgrave. And your T is going to be flexed out to the boundary. They like to do that with Patrick Taylor a lot last year. And we know who this ball over the middle. Let's go. First down, 1st and goal inside the 5. And it feels like it's taken forever to score here, right? Like there's 8 minutes left now. You've ran off how much time? And it's still, it's 17-3 at this point, but just taking forever.
Notice how wide open Taylor was on the swing, and Jordan's like, nope,
Ain't doing it.
Nope.
Ain't doing it. All right, so now it's 17-11. They obviously pounded the rock in there. So now it's just a 6-point game. There's 5:23 left. We come out in a nasty split this time. Nasty dubs out of the gun. Strong right, T weak. Underneath the Tay Wicks. He did that so well last year, man. Just picking up those tough yak yards. All right, here's a better look at this play. We should be coming down the stretch here. I imagine this is the game-winning drive here because they end up missing a field goal to give us a win, if I remember correctly. So next play, now we're looking at a 2nd and 10 at New Orleans' 45-yard line. We're going empty again. Trey Wright. T's going to be on the wing again. Jordan going up top to Jaden Reed. Oh, my God. About that catch, boys.
The bird man.
Laid out for it, man. What's the protection here? Let's see it. Beautiful protection. Steps up in the pocket. God, what a catch, dude. That is unbelievable.
Great throw and great catch because Jordan had to put that ball there, right? If he doesn't lead him there, that ball's picked.
No doubt about it. All right, here we are. 1st and 10, 3:42 left at New Orleans' 15-yard line. Inside the Tay Wicks again. Going to pick up a few. You forget how sure-handed Tay Wicks was last year, man.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was just all year long. He was that go-to guy. All right, now let's go to
the past couple of weeks. He's coming back too. His hands are looking better now this year. So
definitely, is it really not going to? I was going to say, is it not going to load the most important play? So here we go. 3rd and 3, 2:59 left. Tie ball game, 17-17 at New Orleans' 8-yard line, and you guys know who it's going to here. When the game's on the line, think play or not play. Let's look for Dobby at the bottom. I think this might have been the back shoulder, right? It was. What a catch.
I just caught the ball.
This angle right here, man. The placement of the ball, the catch, everything. Oh, it's beautiful. You
big
throw
boy,
it only where your receiver,
Rome, love it.
only where your receiver can get it, man. And if it gets tipped, it's flying out of bounds. That's what's happening, right? So I don't know, man. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of walk back down memory lane and see how that ended last year. And this was kind of the coming out party for Jordan Love, where people went, okay, we got something, right?
Yep.
He gets into a rhythm. It's a dude that can really make things happen. So, again, the Packers ended up going on to win that Week 3 matchup against the Saints last year. I think they, like I said, missed a field goal at the very end to give us the win. So, pretty cool, man. Walking, like I said, down memory lane and checking those old ones out. Any comments on that? Listen, it's two different teams now. We know that, right? They change. The NFL changes so much from year to year. In no way are we trying to draw a parallel there. I just thought it was cool that we're playing the Saints this week. I think it was I can't remember who it was on Twitter. Someone had mentioned this game. It was kind of the coming out party. And when I went to NFL Pro, I'm like, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. We'll look at the tape this morning, see what happened in that game. I went, holy cow, we were down 17-0 in the fourth quarter. I knew it was late in the game, but I didn't know it was the fourth quarter. Pretty cool.
Yep.
So
that was kind of the beginning of the streak of the Packers, proving that they're never out of a game. I mean, we've seen it this year. We almost came back on the Vikings. We were down massively in that game too. And, there's no quit in this team. It doesn't matter if they go down a couple scores or not. Now, we prefer them to not crap the bed in the first half of the game and, put some points on the board early and not win them all at the end. But I certainly think you can see the progress between last year and this year with, like you mentioned, Tay Wicks, Jordan Love. Guys are improving, and you're going to have bumps in the road. Jordan had a few bad throws last year. He had a couple this year, but, things continue to progress forward. And I think guys are in a groove now, and they're confident in their development and, playing their best ball at the right time, and like I said, man, we got to get this dub on Monday night.
Yeah. Carl K said so many good throws made believers of many doubters. Again, man, it was check it off the list for me. It's one of the things that when you're self-scouting as well as, you're scouting prospects, I've told everybody, man, watch these college football playoffs. When the game's on the line and it's the fourth quarter, watch the third down snaps for these quarterbacks, right? Watch the third down snaps for the pass rushers. It's huge. Like, watching Notre Dame last night in Indiana, Indiana's been like the big darling this year. And you see Notre Dame just absolutely, they just pin their shoulders down and thump that head all night long, man. Jeremiah Love, their running back, that's a guy that you see in the biggest moment of his young career in college. It's like, all right, he's rising to the occasion. That's a name you're going to hear in another year or two. He's only a sophomore, too. So Riley Leonard was one of those guys, one of the highest paid coming out of the NIL, if I understood correctly. He came from Duke to Notre Dame, so he's a quarterback that's going to be entering the draft this year, right? And it's like, okay, where's Riley Leonard fall? My opinion, I'm a Notre Dame fan. He hasn't showed that much this year. Now, he just tied or set the new rushing touchdown record for quarterbacks in Notre Dame history. But you get to the league, people aren't looking at that going, how effective did he run the football? You got to be able to spin it. He's just too inconsistent. So, again, you've seen some of that last night, throwing an interception in the first quarter. I'm mentioning that because the draft's going to be right around the corner. Watch these playoff games, man. It's going to be awesome. We got a full slate of them today. And pick a position of need. Go over to, whatever website you like for scouting information and going, all right, who's the top prospects on these teams? Write them down on a piece of paper, sit down with a daddy soda, watch the game, and see what they do in crunch time for sure. So, Jacob, I know you're going to have to go here in a minute. You just hop off when you need to. But is there anything you want to hit on before you go, man? Any kind of topic or anything? Because I don't want you to not hit what you wanted to hit before we have to get off here.
No, I do got to jump right now. But if I'm not mistaken, we had a missed kick that we should have went up 18-17, if I'm not mistaken, right? And we had a missed point after touchdown, I believe that kept it at 17-17, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just blessed that we got a man named Mr. Brandon McManus. I saw a photo of him and his lovely family, 3 kids today. It's a very, very wonderful blessing to not have to worry about if the kick's going through. I think that guy has quietly been one of the best additions to this team that not a lot of people talk about. There, you got your kicker talk. I'm back. You guys have fun with that. Go Pack, go. We got a couple good games today too, guys. In addition to the college games, this is the best time of year. Christmas, winter, snow, football, almost every day of the year somehow. It's amazing. So go Pack, go. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Now, have a good day, buddy.
See you, Jacob.
And Jake G126 with the super chat here, giving a shout out, said the beard has returned. Appreciate you, Jake. Thank you so much, buddy. All right, yeah. Jake Cole says Leonard is not consistent. That's the way I've seen it too, and I wanted it to work, right? Like that was the guy you want. As many Notre Dame player as a Notre Dame fan, you want as many of those guys to make it to the next level as possible, because that does give you a better reputation with incoming prospects. Like, hey, look, we're churning out these pro athletes. But I just don't. I could be wrong. I just don't see Riley Leonard being one of those dudes for sure. So. All right, let's see here, Tim. Since we were kind of talking about the weekly slate, you want to take a look at it from NFL Nerds, see what we got coming up this week?
Oh yeah, pull up our favorite graphic. Here we go.
Let's go.
Here's a graphic.
Exactly. So you heard Jacob mention there's going to be some games today. here's what we got going on. Okay, obviously Thursday night was the Broncos and the Chargers. The Chargers ended up pulling that out at the end and getting the dub. So today at 1 o'clock.
The Texans at the NFL officiating committee. That'll be a good game.
Also known as the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be the 1 o'clock kickoff today at Kansas City. That should be a blast, man. That's two really good football teams. Houston Texans going there. DeMeco Ryans taking that tough defense into Kansas City, going to try to slow down Patrick Mahomes. Is Patrick Mahomes playing? I don't even know if he's playing, Tim. That's something for you fantasy owners.
Let us know. Ankle, right? Ankle injury?
Yeah. Let us know in the chat, guys, if you know whether Patrick Mahomes is playing. Nate McSwain says, dude, is Mahomes playing today? He got an high ankle sprain on Sunday. I can't imagine he is if it was a high ankle sprain, because those things are like 4 to 8 weeks or something, right? So anyway, Texans at the Chiefs in the 1 o'clock window. Then you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. Man, you talking about a hell of a rivalry right there. That's definitely the two best teams in the AFC North. I feel comfortable saying that, and they hate each other, man.
Yeah, that's the game to watch today.
That's going to be hard hitting. 4:30 Eastern kickoff. He's playing. Holy cow! Nick McSwain said he's playing. J. Cole said that Patrick Mahomes is playing. That's unbelievable, man. So those are your two kickoffs today. Again, I would say you probably want to watch this one over the other. They're both going to be dandies. Get out there and watch them, man. They're going to be great. Next Sunday, 1 o'clock slate. We got several games here. Looks like we got, 5 games? So you got the Titans at the Colts. I'm sorry, 6 games. The Browns at the Bengals, 1 o'clock kickoff. What's cool, too, is, Tim, the Texans at the Chiefs today, cold weather game. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, cold weather game, outside in the elements the way it should be played. Then 1 o'clock, Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals, cold weather game outside. Pretty cool. Titans at the Colts is a 1 o'clock kickoff. The LA Rams at the Jets. So you get to watch Aaron Rodgers try to knock the LA Rams down a notch in the standings, as they're currently leading the NFC West at 8-6 with the tiebreaker over the Seattle Seahawks. But that'll be a cold weather game in Jersey, I'm sure. Then another 1 o'clock kickoff. Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Commanders. Another cold weather kickoff. Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears is a 1 o'clock kickoff. That'll be obviously cold and windy there in Chicago. And then, of course, you got the Giants at the Atlanta Falcons as another 1 o'clock kickoff. Falcons are now sitting at 7-7, second in the NFC South behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are sitting at 8-6. So, Tim, with those early slates in today's games, man, you have the floor. Some exciting football going on, man. A lot of playoff implications on the line here, dude.
There are. I mean, definitely when it comes to impacting the seeding, I think for sure. Of course, there's a couple dumpster fire games mixed in there too. You got to have those, but I think it's like Jacob said before he jumped off, man. This is that time of the year. If you're a football fan, man, this is exciting time to watch football, man. Huge slate of games, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah. Completely agree. So if we were to look at the standings here, obviously on the same graphic, what games have playoff implications or could have some impact for the Packers? The first one that pops up to me is the LA Rams at the Jets, right? We want the Jets to win that game and continue to beat down those NFC West teams. So that would make the Rams fall to 8-7 if somehow, some way Aaron Rodgers could pull out a dub there, him and Devontae Adams. Next, You got the Eagles at the Commanders, right? The Eagles at the Commanders. The Eagles, I'm to the point now where I'm cool with the Eagles winning out, right? The Commanders is the team you want to see drop that loss there, right? Because, again, when we looked at the playoff picture, I may have it here. Let me see here. I think I do real quick. Actually, we'll just go to the standings. I'm pretty sure this is up to date. So the Commanders are sitting at 9-5. They're number 7, the 7 seed, right? Imagine if the Commanders and the Seahawks both lose to him. Now look how comfortable that playoff berth looks for the Packers. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think that NFC West is the one to really watch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look between the Rams, the Seahawks, and Arizona's out. They're done. But I think I'd rather see Seattle again than the Rams. I don't know how you feel about that.
Absolutely, because when we played the Rams, they did not have Puka Nacua, right?
Yep.
They're a totally different offensive football team when he's on the field. And I'm not saying they're world beaters and there's no chance we could win that game. I'm with you on that, Tim. I feel better about our chances with Seattle, but you also got to take into consideration how hard it is to beat the same team twice, right? So it applies to both of these guys. I'm just simply saying when you look at Seattle, just because we beat them that bad the first time, right? Coaching staffs are going to make adjustments, and you go in with this mindset of, all right, probably just need to do what we were doing that was working, and then they make a completely, totally different change game plan wise. Next thing you know, you're down by a couple scores, right? So it's just this time of year is just awesome, man, because everybody's got all the tape, right? They've got every team on tape, and it becomes this game of chess and not checkers. I love it, dude. Absolutely love it. So again, I think we're pulling for Philly there. Am I wrong there, Tim? You want Philly to beat Washington in that season?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely. That's a team, sneaky, dangerous team, right? Washington. It's another one. We talk about Tampa. That's another team that, sneak up and ruin your year if you're not careful. So, any of those type of teams falling in the standings, I'll take it. Yeah. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's go.
Yeah. And then you got Detroit at Chicago. Obviously, we're all Bears fans, as bad as it makes me want to throw up on my shoes.
Oh, I'm not saying that. You will never hear me say those words.
I'll be a Bears fan come Sunday, man. I hope they somehow, some way beat the Lions, because the Lions continue to get banged up. Montgomery's out for a significant amount of time. He did not rule out that he wouldn't return to the playoffs. That was something that was interesting the other day that got talked about. So if the Bears somehow, some way beat the Lions and they drop to 12-3, right, and you go out and take care of business the rest of the way out, listen, if they lose to the Bears, they could lose every game from here on out. Let's be honest about it, right? Do I think that's going to happen? No. But there still is a shot for the Packers to win the North, as silly as that sounds. And it's I bet the percentage of the chances is well under 10%, right? But I'm going to be pulling for the Bears to try to upset the Lions there in Chicago for sure. So, all right, Giants at the Falcons. Any playoff implications there? We're Giants fans. Don't hold your breath, though. They're 2-12. Going to be tough to beat Atlanta down there. I don't care if Uncle Rico's their quarterback. It's going to be tough to win that ball game down there, right?
Playoffs?
Or tough to lose that ball game, I should say, to the Giants. So that's a 1:00 kickoff. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals at the Carolina Panthers. Again, we want the Giants to beat the Falcons, but with this Cardinals-Panthers game, we're pulling for the Panthers too. Going to be an uphill battle. Like to see the Cardinals drop to 7-8. That would be ideal there. 1:00 window games. You have the floor, Tim. Anything you want to hit on there, Bo?
Yeah, I agree totally. Maybe one of these teams will get it done. You never know. I mean, you talk about uphill battles. Yeah, Chicago, Detroit, obviously, and then Carolina, Arizona. I think that one might be the one we could see a surprise in. Depends on what Cardinals team actually shows up this week, but you never know. Carolina could find a way. Even a broken clock's right twice a day, so you never know.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour two. We appreciate y'all. All right, welcome into hour two. Let's hit the 4:00 window games here as we get ready to get knee deep into week 16. 4:00 window, Tim, the one that sticks out here, man. We'll talk about it here for a second. Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks. What's beautiful about this game is if the Seahawks win, we increase our chances of passing the Vikings up for the number 2 seed, right? Yep. Or the number 3 seed. I'm sorry. 5. 5 is what it would be, right? Yeah, 5. So we got a chance to improve in seedings if the Seattle Seahawks win. But if the Vikings win, Seattle Seahawks are going to drop like we were talking about. Both them and the Rams drop. Then we got a lot more cushion to secure that playoff berth. Obviously, it would lock it in place. So Vikings at the Seahawks, man. How do you see that, dude?
What's up with Geno? Do we have an update on him?
I don't know. Everybody in the chat, hit us up, man. Hit us up in the chat. Do you know what Geno Smith, his status is for the game here on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, if he's not playing, I don't know. I think if Seattle's close to full strength, maybe they make a run at the Vikings, steal one here. That would be great. It is a home game, we'll see, I don't know. Tough environment to play in. The Vikings are, a dome team. I don't know, man. This could be a chance for a little upset here for Seattle if they get a win.
Yeah, Fred McFarley says Geno is playing. Nick says he thinks he's playing. Jason, Geno is good to go. Geno was full go at practice, says Ron Samble. J. Cole, Geno's playing.
Here we go. Let's go Seattle.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. People see the way he acted in that game and like, man, I thought he was really hurt. Let's be honest, guys. I know bad acting when I see it. He was trying to get a flag on Edgerrin Cooper on that play is what he was trying to do. And then he goes, walks it back to the locker room and comes right back out, right? And it's like, hold up a minute, buddy. You act like you were dying just a second ago. What just happened? What changed? So
he was tired of getting sacked.
That's exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. So Vikings at the Seahawks, the game I'm probably most interested in there. Patriots at the Bills. The Bills probably win that by 212 points, to be honest with you. Might be some snow on the ground, though, so you just put the TV on mute. Don't worry about the football and just enjoy the background, right? That's
there
one
you
of those
go.
Games. Then you got the Jaguars at the Raiders, 4:25 kickoff as well.
Holy crap, there's the toilet bowl.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad one there, man. Listen, matter of fact, we've got our other graphic here. Let's see. This might be the battle for the number 1 pick or close to it, right? Jaguars have the number 4 pick at 3-11, and the Raiders have the number 1 pick at 2-12. Yeah, this is one of those games that they're just going to be throwing the ball back and forth to each other, Tim. Like, no, you take it. No, I don't want you take it. Let's try to get this number 1 pick. There might be some really bad football seeing that there's going to be first overall pick on the line here, bud.
Yeah, I would agree. Who wants it? Who want the pick bowl? Who wants it? More than the other guy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I will not be watching that game. Sorry.
Yeah, I probably won't even be looking at the highlights, to be honest with you, or the numbers, stats, or anything. We'll just pretend like that's part of the college football playoff today. That's San Francisco 49ers at the Miami Dolphins, 4:25 kickoff. The Niners are now 6-8, pretty much done, right? And the Miami Dolphins are currently, where are they at? So they're second in their division, sitting at 6-8. It's going to be hard to get in for them, as it looks like the 3 teams that could potentially get in the AFC is going to be the Baltimore Ravens at 9-5, the Denver Broncos at 9-5, the Chargers at 8-6. Yeah, so the Dolphins are pretty much all but done too. So that game there, no real implications other than, Kyle Shanahan and his good friend Mike McDaniel, going at it head-to-head there as head coaches. That's about it. Only storyline there. So anything else you want to touch on here in the 4:25 or 4 o'clock window, rather?
No, just keeping an eye on that Vikings and Seahawks game.
Got it. All right. Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Dallas. Listen, Dallas is refusing to roll over, man. Again, 6-8. And they, haven't had Dak for several weeks now. Again, if someone had told me, hey, they're going to be playing a majority of the season without Dak, and they're going to be sitting at 6-8 going into week 16, I would have said, okay, it's not like the end of the world, but we know how it is in Dallas. Everything is magnified out there because of their owner. Maybe Dallas can pull an upset here, Tim. Be playing at home against Tampa. I don't really expect it, but you never know, man. Any given Sunday, and that'll be the Sunday night game of the week. So at least we got a reason to watch that game, rooting against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to make people very nauseous in the chat. We're Cowboys fans on Sunday night. All right, that's the way that's going to go. So
yeah, absolutely. I don't know about fans, but definitely rooting against them for sure. Rooting against Tampa for sure in this one. Be nice to see Dallas steal a win.
Yeah, and then of course the Monday Night Football game of the week is the Saints at the Green Bay Packers, 8:15 Eastern kickoff. Haven't looked at but there is going to be a slight chance of some snow flying at Lambeau Field 2 days before Christmas. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. You kidding me? This is usually the game I try to make it up for, is like the week before Christmas, just to kind of hit the Christmas festivities in downtown Green Bay. And they're on the west bank of the Fox River in the northern part of Green Bay. They're on the west side, Tim. They got some really cool villages set up over there, man. They got the fires burning and everything outside. Nice shopping, good coffee, good hot chocolate, good food, greasy, deep fried food right there on the side of the street, man. It doesn't get any better.
Oh yeah, you gotta love it, man. This is the place to be in the winter for sure.
Yeah.
I might have to do a little stretching, get the old legs out, get on that ice rink over there at Titletown.
Jeez.
Make a fool out of myself. We'll see.
Yeah. I can't do it, man. This is how I end up every time I get on an ice skating rink right there. That's every single time. And Mandy's off to the side like this. She looks like a figure skater, just laughing her ass off at me the whole time.
I'm like, Clayton, let's go ice skating. And you're like,
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
It's funny, too. Anytime it gets brought up and we got a crowd around us, before she can say anything, I immediately jump in and talk about how bad she is at skating and how good I am at it. People are like, oh, really? And she's over going, no, not at all. Kidding me. I'm over there on the side waiting for her to get done skating. I'm like this with a bad hip, you know.
See, I'll get out there and try, but then when I'm done, I'm usually like,
My knee.
Do we have any good ice skaters in the chat? I need to know, man. I can't do it. Like, seriously, man. I just can't. I can throw a baseball with just enough pressure on one individual finger to get two-seamer spin, curve, slider, knuckle, everything. Like, total control of my hands. Right? I get these big old mitts, too. But, boy, you get me on an ice skating ring or on rollerblades, I look like I'm trying to walk on the damn moon, dude. It's hilarious. So, anyway. Enough ice skating talk. There you go. Blades of Fury. Anything else we want to hit on in terms of the matchups coming up? I think we pretty well covered it in terms of like playoff implications, all that good stuff, Tim. Anything before we move on to the NFL Pro preview here?
no, I think we got it covered. We know what to keep an eye on, what the implications are. So, we're focused on our work, right? We got to get our win, take care of business at home. Like I said all year, we haven't really gotten any help from any of these other NFC teams. I don't think we're going to, but hopefully this weekend is the surprise. Hopefully we get a Lions loss and a Vikings loss. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be absolutely awesome for sure. All right, so let's go to the NFL Pro preview here as we've got the New Orleans Saints coming to town against the Green Bay Packers. The Saints are 5-9. They're currently the 13th seed in the NFC. The Packers are sitting at 10-4. They're the number 6 seed in the NFC as it sits right now. When you go to at a glance, the Saints are 17th in the league in points per game with 22.1. The Packers are 27.1 points per game. That's 7th best in the league. So obviously the Packers have one of the more potent offenses across the entire National Football League, finished at 7th there in points scored per game. In point differential, the Packers are currently 5th in the league at plus 92 point differential. The Saints are 17th at -3. All right. Records in close games. The Packers are 5-3 in close games. Remember, a short time ago, Tim, their record was kind of bad in that regard, wasn't it? It seemed like we were below 500. Now all of a sudden we're sitting at 5-3. Things are really starting to crank up. And then records in close games for the Saints, they're 2-5. Now, listen, no one's expecting this to be a close game, but boys, I'm telling you, you can't sleep on anybody in this league. Average margin of victory, though, they're first in the league at 17.8. So when they did, the game that they won the most points by is the way I'm understanding this metric, 17.8 in terms of average margin of each of their victories, right? The Packers are 13th at 11.2. And I think that's why fans get a little upset, it seems like, right, Tim? We're not blowing teams out, that aren't named the Seahawks. It just seems like every week it's a close game. And, man, I think that's, to me, it's indicative of a good coaching staff, a good team that you kind of play the game you're dealt. I would much rather that number be lower, like we're talking about, 11.2 average margin of victory, as opposed to, losing more games, obviously, right? The goal is to win every Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think a lot of the fan base, tends to fixate on final scores, right? We should have won by 3 scores, or we should have blew this team out. Just secure the win. I don't care. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if it's a boat race. I don't care if it's down to the wire with, a blocked field goal to give us the victory. I do not care. Just get the dub. But obviously you want your team to have command, right, and be comfortable. But I think what we're, starting to see now is the Packers proving that they can be a comeback team. They can, be down in a game and never be out of it. And then they can also go up a couple scores and protect the lead and get out there with a victory too. So, and hey, it's indicative of the NFL, man. Everybody gets paid. Everyone's trying to win. It's a tough league to find success in. So you're going to have close games, and margin of victory is a tough one when you got these guys out there throwing laundry all over the field. So we'll see what it looks like on Monday with our boy Mr. Kemp here.
Exactly, Alex Kemp with the hanky there. I don't trust that thumbs up.
That looks like his like his album cover photo or something. Like Alex Kemp's Greatest Hits Volume 1 or something.
To me, it looks like the bad guy in a children's Christmas movie from the 90s. You know what I mean? Like he's sneaking into a festival or something and doing something he's not supposed to, right? Like, you have that run on movies where it's just like there's bad guys in the children's movie, but they're not like evil bad. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Like you think of there's just a bunch of them. Anyway, it's like Home Alone, right? Like you got the two bad guys, but you love them because they're just so damn stupid, right? It's like this is awesome.
Absolutely.
So, Greg Rice said 14 points is a lot to cover in the NFL. It really is, man. And again, I told you guys my rule is I do not gamble on Packer games unless it's just like, that's easy money. Let me take that in favor of the Packers. I would never bet against a spread against the Packers. I just don't understand people who like those type of rooting interests for their favorite team. But if this was any other game and I'm looking at 14, I'm teasing it to 14.5 or 15, and I'm taking the points. That's just typically how I roll when it comes to gambling. That's not live gambling, right? So it's a lot of points, Tim. A lot of points to cover. But again, man, you look at the juice too. Like if you were to take the Saints just to win outright, plus 600 is the juice. That's one of the higher numbers this year, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, me, I'm not a sports bettor. This is all Japanese to me. But honestly, it's cool to see though, because it kind of shows where the odds makers have it. We've always talked about this. Vegas sees these games pretty well. But yeah, I mean, I respect you because I know you're a sports bettor, but you won't touch this one. And you're not going to bet against our Packers. So I love you for it. Thanks, Clay.
Yeah, not going to happen, man. Not going to happen. Nick McSwain says, Love going to be setting traps like Macaulay Culkin. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on to the matchup comparisons here. This is where we get into as we say down here, the meat and taters of the bunch. Team overview, Saints offense. Overall passing efficiency, they're 21st. The Packers' passing efficiency on defense is 5th best in the league. That's a 4-star advantage for the Packers. Overall rushing efficiency for the Saints, they're 11th. The Packers' rush defense efficiency is 11th. So a 1-star advantage to the Packers is what they're giving them there. To me, that looks a little more like a push than an advantage, but I'm sure they have their reasons for picking the Packers. And then the pressure rate, the Saints offense handles pressure 18th best in the league. The Packers applying pressure 28th best in the league. That gives a 1-star advantage to the Saints. So when it comes to the Saints offense against the Packers defense, just in simply a bird's eye view, team overview here, the Packers have a huge advantage in the overall passing defense against the Saints passing offense and a 1-star advantage over their running game. Tim, how do you see that? I think that's a pretty accurate assessment, although I would give a slight a little bit more, or not a slight edge. I would call it a push there in the rushing efficiency. It just seems like the Saints know how to run the ball, but keep in mind, I think Taysom Hill is still out, right? Yep. So if he's still on IR, then obviously Taysom Hill's a big reason why the running game was getting going, and also Alvin Kamara. So that's probably why they gave the slight advantage of the Packers is Alvin Kamara not going to be playing.
So where are they at on their depth chart then? Are we going to see some Jamal Williams on Monday night?
We might see some Molly out there, man. We may see it. And again, I think that he's probably on the bench for a reason. I haven't looked at any of his numbers. Matter of fact, just hit on this for a second. I'll look it up and see if Jamal Williams has played much this year.
I think it's important to look at the pressure rate here. When we talk about how our pass rush is, starting to trend upward and getting home. But it looks like the Saints are, relatively equipped to deal with the pass rush. So I think this is another game where, you're going to have Spencer Rattler there under center. So you want the rookie to have a lot to diagnose and think about. So I would think this is a game where, maybe we're going to blitz and keep the pressure on him, dialing up the 5th or 6th guy occasionally. But I would anticipate a lot of sugar from Hafley when it comes to, loading up the box, and maybe we go into those Tampa 2 looks and we got guys flying out in coverage. And, you give your rookie a lot to think about post-snap and pre-snap. I think that's going to be the approach. I don't think we're just going to unleash the dogs all day long on them. It might be more advantageous to just keep that kid in the pocket and let him make mistakes. And let our secondary cook. That's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like his workload has went down tremendously, being Jamal Williams. I think they're only showing 35 carries in 2024 for 129 yards. So I was trying to find his actual grade, but for whatever reason, they made that extremely difficult there to pull up. It was just pulling up the actual stats. And it looks like PFF's mobile stat on the telephone has on the telephone. Did you hear that? On the cell phone has changed quite a bit. Just dated myself. Yeah, so we don't see where he's ranked in terms of overall grade. So it's just showing if these numbers are correct, he's on his way out of the league. Sounds like Tim. It really does. So.
Yeah. Fred McFarley hitting up the chat. Kendre Miller, is that his? Kendre Miller should not be taken lightly. So that's the one to watch, right? So I'm assuming, like, looking at Jamal Williams' numbers, like you said, he probably won't get a bunch of carries. I'm assuming they're going to go with this other back, right?
Yeah, it looks like Kendre Miller, if I'm looking at it correctly. Let's see. Yeah, he got the majority of the workload last week, it seems like, with Washington. So it looks like it kind of bellied out around week 8. And then week 14, it might have even been a practice squad guy or something, because he doesn't show up from week 8 to week 14. And then obviously his workload increased in week 14 and then in week 15 as well. So might be able to pull it up on PFF on the computer, be a little easier. But we'll keep an eye on it, though. Again, when we look at the Saints preview here on PFF, we go to the lineups. Let's look at their offensive side real quick and see who it's showing. Yeah, it's showing Kendre Miller there. Or Kendre. I think that's how you say it, Kendre Miller. 74 PFF grade. His running grade, though, Tim, at 86.4. So
Fred's right. We can't take this guy lightly. Don't ignore that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been looking great in the run fits, though. So, I mean, I'm not overly worried. It's not like we've got Derrick Henry coming to town or something, but certainly someone you don't want to sleep on for sure.
Yeah, and it looks like he was a third-round pick in the 2023 draft. So, in 2023 is 74.1, and 2024 his grades are 74.0. So, really, really consistent, no doubt about that. Fred McFarley, his running style suits the bad weather. He's not a fancy dome back. Got it. Appreciate the update there, Fred, for sure. Let's move over to the Packers offense against the Saints defense here. And the big thing that sticks out, Packers passing offense, 7th most efficient in the league according to NFL Pro. The Saints passing defense, not. So their pass defense is definitely their strength. No doubt there's no advantage there according to Next Gen Stats. Overall rushing efficiency, the Packers are number 9. The Saints defense is 29. So that's a 4-star advantage for the Packers. And then, of course, handling pressure. Packers offense 10th best in pressure rate, against pressure rate. And then the Saints defense is 20th. So it's a 3-star advantage as far as pressure. So
this could be entertaining as hell, man.
Dude, this is the thing. Like, when you looked at every metric last week between the Packers and the Seahawks, it was Packers by a long shot, right? You look at this one, it's like, this feels like it could be a little closer than that 14 points. Again, I'm not betting on this game, but at plus 14, man, looking really appealing.
Crazy scenario, right? You're going to, on paper here, it looks like Jay Money's going to have time. He's going to have time in that pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be looking down the field at some covered up guys on occasion. And we're going to have to keep the run game going. I think that's going to be the key, right? We can run the ball effectively. That should make things a little easier in the pass game. But if we're going to just sit there and, try and pick them apart down the field, it's going to be interesting going up against that coverage.
Yeah, and as Nick McSwain says here, man, I'm excited to see Jacobs in the first really cold weather game. Going to set a record for forced missed tackles. You're going to need him this week, man. There's no two ways about that. You are going to need him to try to make a big difference here in this game if their pass defense is as efficient as they're saying it is. This could be a big Josh Jacobs game. But you know what I'd like to see, Tim? Jump up to an early lead. And I know Jacobs doesn't want to do it. You listen. He's going to be playing in the game, but if you do jump up to an early lead, let's press into Chris Brooks. Let's press into Emmanuel Wilson a little bit. Right?
Get Josh his 25 carries in the first half, and then just boom, right? $125 rushing. You got a couple tutters. Go sit down somewhere and rest up, buddy. We'll let.
I'd like to see us play. I'd like to see us go down the field like we did against Seattle, take an early lead, and then go up by 10. And let's let Jacobs finish the day with, 7 carries. That would be fine with me. But he's probably going to get the workload, no doubt, man.
For sure.
All right, here we go. Look, Nick McSwain, we're on the same page. Please don't give Josh Jacobs 25 carries. Under 20. Isn't it funny, too, Tim? When the team's losing, I'm as guilty as anyone. Hey, we need to get Josh Jacobs a damn ball. And then as soon as it looks like the playoffs are, we're probably pretty well. let's stop giving Josh Jacobs the ball for a second.
we got to realize though, he's a workhorse, man. Like he made the comments the other day, right? He said, "I feel great. I'm not hurt. I'm feeling good." I think, after what was it, 7 seasons with Aaron Jones? Aaron Jones, as dynamic as he was, that was a guy you wanted to watch the workload, right? You wanted to make sure you had him fresh. I think Josh Jacobs is a little more rough and tumble. I think he can take it, man.
Yeah. Greg Rice says, "Run the bleeping ball." There you go.
Amen.
Fred McFarley says, "Hopefully we can pull the varsity in the fourth quarter." Hope so. We might be looking up and they're pulling their varsity. You never know with this league, man. You just never know. Let's see. All right, let's move on to the matchup insights. This is one of my favorite aspects of us breaking down games going in as previews here. The Saints currently have a .357 winning percentage, which is their worst winning percentage in a season since they went 3-13. That winning percentage was .188, and that was in 2005. It says the Saints hired Sean Payton as head coach and signed Drew Brees following the 2005 season. So this is the worst that the Saints have been since right before they hired Sean Payton and obviously signed Drew Brees as a free agent when he left the Chargers. So, again, man, these guys are playing for their career too, though. Everybody's trying to put good tape out there, and they're trying to put themselves in a position to have a job next year. I think the big thing is what we noticed with the PFF preview, Tim, is like Cam Jordan having one of his worst years, right? That's a guy in the middle that if you don't have that dog up front, that 3 tech, you're going to struggle in every aspect of the defensive side of the ball. So, but it sounds like the Saints are at their lowest point since 2005, man.
Yeah, which is, every reason to have a healthy fear of a team like that, right? What the hell do they have to lose? I mean, I think we're going to get a dogfight from the New Orleans Saints. I don't think they're going to come to Lambeau and just lay down and go through the motions because their season's over. They're already, like you said, shifting towards future mode, right? You want to get good reps on tape. And the coaching staff is going to be looking for, who they need to move up and move down. And, so guys are really, they're playing for each other out there, and they're playing for future opportunities. And I don't think we can afford to take the Saints for granted at all, despite the fact that they're at the lowest of the low right now.
Yeah. Nate McSwain said the coaches need to protect him from himself. He'd be out there every play if it was up to him, talking about Josh Jacobs. Yep. I think that's a very real thing, Nick.
That's so true. It really is.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Josh Jacobs has scored 11 of his 12 rushing touchdowns since week 8, which are the most in the NFL over that span. So since week 8, there's no running back that scored more touchdowns than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs' 9 rushing touchdowns in the last 5 games are the second most in a 5-game span in Packers franchise history, behind only, listen to this name, Jim Taylor's 11 touchdowns in a 5-game span in 1962. And that was an NFL championship year as well there. So pretty cool little parallel, guys. When something's being done for the first time or second most, and I don't know how many years that is, since 1962, something special is happening in Green Bay, man.
Yeah, you got to love it when you're being compared to legends, right? Jimmy Taylor, that's a legend right here in Green Bay. And I think it's awesome, man. We were excited when we got the announcement about Josh Jacobs coming to Green Bay, and then we had that, 19 minutes or so where we thought we had him and Aaron Jones
right. as
a tandem thing, and we were excited. And I think we had every right to be. And Josh Jacobs, to his credit, man, he's answered the call. We had some, not doubts, but we were questioning, which version of him were we going to get. He kind of had a down year as last year with the Raiders. And he came here reinvigorated, and he's balling at a high level, and I love it. It's awesome.
Same, man. Alontae Taylor, cornerback, number 1 for New Orleans, says Alontae Taylor has been targeted 91 times in coverage. That's second most in the league, and have allowed 60 receptions, second most, for 856 yards. That's the most in the league. It says Taylor has allowed 5 touchdowns in coverage without an interception this season, but has recorded 13 pass defenses, the most recorded without an interception this season. So Alontae Taylor, look for number 1. It sounds like he's getting picked on there, Tim. He's been targeted 91 freaking times, man. Second most in the league. I imagine, matter of fact, let me just look over here without pulling it up and see where Taylor is playing on their defense in the nickel.
Yeah, who's lined up on that? Who's going to torch him? Is it Rome or Scoot?
Alante Taylor. Now, listen, you got to keep in mind PFF isn't really taking formations into consideration. They just kind of lay it out. They're showing him as an outside corner, and in this case, covering the X. If that's the case, then you're going to see Romeo Dobbs against Alante Taylor. So might see a couple tutters for old Romeo Dobbs in this game. Could be one of those situations where Josh Jacobs in this backfield carries the load, gets them inside the 5, and a couple back shoulder throws to Romeo. I can see that.
I just caught the ball.
Exactly. So keep an eye out for number 1 and see if he's getting cooked on Monday night, right? Jordan, this might be the suspect too. Jordan Love has 7 passing touchdowns and no interceptions in the last 4 starts after throwing an interception in each of his first 8 starts. They should just have in parentheses at the bottom. It should just say Toyota-thon. That's all it should say right there. So, 7 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions the last 4 starts, Tim. That's it's MVP-like numbers, man, over a short span, albeit, but pretty exciting stuff to see Jordan heating up again here.
Jordan Love-a-thon. I love it. It's a great time of year. He missed those games with the injury early. Ain't no telling what the numbers might have looked like if he was, available, and then struggled a little bit coming back, and now is just peaking at the right time, playing high-level football. That's what you need for sure. Yeah. I'm fully confident that Jordan Love will be a league MVP at some point. It's just obviously not going to be this season, but who cares? We'll bring Lombardi home. That's all that really matters, right?
Yeah, definitely. Greg Rice in the chat said half watching have liked. Like let's get it to I don't know, somewhere around 65% maybe.
65%.
65%. That's what So if you guys would hit that like button for us, we greatly appreciate it. I don't mention it much. Try not to. It's an awkward feeling for me to ask someone to like my stream, but it does help. It really does. We appreciate everybody who takes the time to do that. Thank y'all so much for that. And feel free to sub to the channel too. Unless you think this show sucks, which it does. If that's the case, just pretend like we never even crossed paths. Y'all have a good day. All right. And let's go on to the next matchup inside. Saints offense against the Packers defense. Spencer Rattler has completed just 3 of his 13 deep 20-plus air yard pass attempts for 100 yards and 1 interception this season, while Jake Haener has completed 1 of 3 such attempts for 36 yards and 1 interception.
Who?
Giving gifts away over there, Tim, whether it's Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler. If they have to throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field, they seem to be turning it over there. So, again, you can't – if we should learn from our mistakes of Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
Just because it's a backup quarterback doesn't mean they can't come out and get hot at the right moment, have a perfect game plan put together, and beat you. But on the surface, Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener seem to be struggling here.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you think that's going to do for their game plan? Obviously, they're not going to want to try and take the top off of our defense, but it doesn't mean they're not going to throw the ball and test us. So when we talk about their running backs, so they're going to have some semblance of a running game. They're going to attempt to run the ball and keep us honest. So you can't take that for granted. We can't get caught in, too much cover zero or, getting a little too aggressive thinking they're not going to take that shot. And then they do. So just play them straight up, I think.
For sure. All right. Packers, Matt LaFleur is 23-5 as a head coach in December or later, which is second best record in NFL history among coaches who have coached at least 15 games in December or later.
Hold on, say that again. Read that one more time, Clayton.
Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay Packers head coach, this cat right here.
I had to get this on the screen. Let's hear it.
Gotcha. All right. Matt LaFleur, this dude with the 3 lung darts, is 23-5 as a head coach in December or later, which is the second best record in NFL history among coaches who have coached at least 15 games in December or later. You want to know who first is? Only Vince Lombardi's mark of 21-4-2 is better all time.
Let's go.
When it comes to December or later, the two coaches with the best record is one, Vince Lombardi, and then only 2 wins behind him is Matt LaFleur. So can we please stop with the Matt LaFleur slander, please?
I don't want to hear it anymore.
I know people getting their feelings on Sunday, and I know our listeners don't do this, but man, on Twitter, Lord have mercy. It's quiet while things are going good. The second things go bad, Matt LaFleur's an idiot. What's he doing? Oh, it's like, boys, if you expect to get a coach to have more success than this, good luck. This dude is coaching his ass off since day one stepping into the Green Bay Packers organization. And I would love to see him reach that 13-win mark again without Rodgers. But what he's done, now he's again, I looked at it again, he's right around top. I think he's 10th again on the all-time winning percentage list in NFL history of head coaches, winning percentage. He's top 10 once again. So, man, love to see him finish this season strong and climb up there close to the 7 or 8 mark. You know what I mean?
Yep. I don't understand the hate from the fan base when it comes to Matt. I mean, I look at him, it's like what don't you like about Matt LaFleur? It's like if I had to ask myself that question, I'm like, well, that red flag bothers me sometimes.
Right.
Pissing away a timeout sometimes bothers me, but that's it. Those are your biggest complaints of your head coach. I think you're doing okay. I love him as a play caller. I love the way that he leads this team passionately and he connects with those players. All those guys want to play for him, and they're playing together. I think Matt's a great coach. No gripes at all.
Definitely. Nick McSwain says, but according to people on social media, LaFleur is a bad coach. He went on to say, one thing goes wrong and they come out of the woodwork. People expect everything to be perfect, but no NFL game is ever perfect. It really isn't, man. And there's a reason that they're calling something, right? There's always a reason. And again, it's not to say that you don't make mistakes. It's not to say that LaFleur's perfect. No one is. But, man, again, when you really step back and go, all right, what expectations do we have here? Matt LaFleur is he's exceeded mine, man. When they let go of Mike McCarthy and hired Matt LaFleur, I was one of those dudes was like, you're going to have to show me, bub. McCarthy did some amazing things here. Had one of the worst teams in the league in 2005, and then 2 years later had them playing in the Super Bowl, right? Or playing in the NFC Championship, I should say.
Yep.
And then moved on from a Hall of Fame quarterback to an unproven one and won a damn Super Bowl and coached him to multiple MVPs. And then you hire Matt LaFleur, and I'm going, all right, man, show me. He has. He's more than showed me. It was by halfway through season 2, I went, this dude's the real deal, because you could see how well he schemed up the passing game. It was unbelievable. And then also lowering the ego as a head coach and allowing Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams to do their little isolation game thing is huge. And
the fact that he was willing to, be flexible and marry some of those concepts into his system that year, taking some of the old things that Aaron and Davante liked from the McCarthy system and kind of working them into the game plan still. Mm-hmm. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, as Ron Sample says, it's a privilege to watch the coaching staff. Enjoy it while you can. He went on to say the youngest team in the league, too. It's a great point, man. Great point. Greg Rice says he's one of the best offensive play designers in the NFL. It's so true, and I try to study this stuff. I really do. And the big thing that stood out was slot cross and dagger. And then to see how he mixes in both of those concepts into a tray set or a trip set is wild. And now what he's doing with the running game out of the pony package, you could tell this is what he wanted to do last year with the pony package. When he first implemented it, you guys heard me if you listen to our pod, I was so over the moon excited about the pony package. And then you've seen it, and it was like, this ain't working. But, again, it was A.J. Dillon was the difference. It really was. And again, Aaron Jones would get banged up too, and it was A.J. Dillon in another back, or A.J. Dillon, they started putting Josiah DeGuara back there, and it's just like, this ain't working. Well, now what's the difference? Why is it working now? Josh Jacobs is staying healthier, knock on wood, than Aaron Jones ever did, and you've got Jaden Reed that you're putting back there with the pony package. And then you're mixing in some Chris Brooks as the Y, or I'm sorry, as the H in the pony package, leave Jaden split out wide, use him on jet motion, then use Chris Brooks as a lead blocker, and you're doing orbit with the T on a counter run is like Matt LaFleur he's a mad scientist.
Now we got Ben Sims instead of DeGuara, right? So that's an upgrade too at tight end. So you're absolutely right. That's the difference, man. You know, the GM comes in, helps you get that get the personnel you need to go to the next level, and your coach does what he's supposed to do, is take that talent and go win ball games. And you know, you talk about the expectations. What are the expectations? The expectation is to win the Lombardi every year. And you can tell Matt is focused on that and that alone. He doesn't care about the coach of the year accolades or, you know, how many potential MVP candidates we might have on this team. He wants to win a championship. And that's who I want, you know, coaching my team. You know, let's win it all.
J. Cole says pony package with Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let me give you another one too. Imagine Marshawn Lloyd gets healthy, and then you come out in, let's say it's a 21. Let's call it a 20 person. Of course, you don't want to take Tucker Kraft off field. Let's say it's 21, right? Marshawn Lloyd and Josh Jacobs. You break the huddle, and you march Marshawn Lloyd out to the slot, and you bring Jaden Reed into the backfield. Think of how that's going to throw. I mean, they're going to be in their base package trying to cover a receiving threat at the running back position with a linebacker, most likely, right?
Absolutely.
And then you've still got all this counter, all this orbit, everything is still on the table. The big thing with Marshawn Lloyd for me is hopefully, listen, there's nothing that's going to replace game time reps, but hopefully he's been in that playbook to where he's just going to hit the ground running, right? You still got to get those in-game reps that will really feel what it's like to be in the offense. You know,
it's so tough because I don't want to say I want to be excited because I am excited for him, but it's like I want to watch Marshawn Lloyd highlights, and all I can do is look at USC tape. You know, we got to see him out here in the NFL and getting some reps. So I do think we're a better team with him active. You know, we took him in the draft for a reason, a multitude of reasons. And he is a dynamic back, but he can't make the club in the tub, right? So hopefully he sees the field and gets some carries because the running back room is definitely stronger with him available for sure.
Yeah. Ron Sanville says, need to get Brooks a touchdown. He gave up his one chance to win the game. That's a great point. That would be awesome if Monday night you can get Chris Brooks that touchdown, Tim, where he laid down earlier in the year to secure the win, you know?
Yeah.
Huge, man. Huge Rolodex play there for sure. Greg Rice says, I want to see 22 packages. I'm not a big fan of 22, Greg, but let's think about it for a second. It would mean Tucker Kraft and Musgrave on the field as the two tight ends, and then Marshawn Lloyd and Josh Jacobs as your two running backs, right? That would be your 22 personnel, and it would also mean one wide receiver. So in order to get to a 22 package, you got to take Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. You got to take two of those three players off the field, right? So you're asking yourself, is it worth it to press into a scheme design as opposed to taking, you know, your best player off the field? Meaning, let me ask you this. You've got one play to make, one play. Who would you rather have on the field, Romeo Doubs or Luke Musgrave? I want Doubs on the field. Who would you rather have on the field, Christian Watson or Luke Musgrave? I want Christian Watson on the field. Who would you rather have on the field, Jaden Reed or Luke Musgrave? It's Jaden Reed I want on the field, right? So that's the only problem with 22 now. If you use it to mix and match and kind of give people a breather real quick, if you're a little banged up in the wide receiver room at some point, I could see it being worth it. But that's kind of the way. Now, also on the counter side, when you say, what do you mean by scheme, Clayton, like scheming a matchup in? Come out in a 22 package, Tim. You got those players on the field, Marshawn Lloyd, Josh Jacobs, Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, and let's say it's Romeo Doubs, okay? Or no, Christian Watson. Let's say Christian Watson, the speed guy. And you come out and you run 22, and they go to a heavier base set. They may go to like a 4-4 look or something, right? And then all of a sudden you come out and spread everything out with those guys. Musgrave can play wide receiver. Tucker Kraft has been flexed out even more here the last 3 weeks. Christian Watson will stretch the defense completely. We know Josh Jacobs can catch the football, and if Marshawn Lloyd's that guy, we know Chris Brooks can. You can do it with Chris Brooks. Yeah. If you did come out in a 22 package and go spread, watch that defensive coordinator throw his damn hat on the ground. I guarantee you. What are these guys doing? So
I also think it could be a good look sometimes deep in the red zone, right? We talk about getting too razzle-dazzle, too fancy that, down inside the 10 or inside the 5-yard line. Maybe that's a time that you roll out 2 running backs and 2 tight ends and you just play strong big boy football. And, you don't necessarily have to spread them out. You can run condensed there in the red zone and find your way into the end zone with any one of those guys. So, but I'm with you. 22 is not a personnel grouping you want to see a lot. I think it would be fun once in a while, though.
Yeah. Greg Rice says leaving 11. That's where I'm at, Greg.
Yeah.
I just painted this beautiful picture of how we could manipulate the defense with 22, and I'm going, just stay with 11. We're good right now. Let's just keep doing what we're doing, right? So let's see. Nick McSwain says Bill Belichick loves 22-year-olds. All right. So you got,
oh my God!
Somebody hit the symbol for me there. Let's see here.
Wow.
We already hit on Greg. There was one other one here.
It's on fire already. I love it.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up with this. Nick McSwain says people hated Rodgers on not, quote, running LaFleur's offense, but he had one of the best statistical seasons in NFL history. 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions during that time. It's so true, Nick, and much like this year, the only time you heard people complaining was when we lost. If you lost a game, it was Aaron's refusing to run Matt LaFleur's offense, right? Tim, remember Aaron's always changing the play.
It's called playing quarterback in the NFL. It happens in every single game by every single team every single week.
I said going into Jordan Love's first year, are y'all going to keep that same energy when you see Jordan changing the play? And he did over and over and over. Like, if you don't like the quarterback changing the play, then you're not allowed to like that touchdown down the seam in Minnesota last year on New Year's Eve. Right?
Nobody wants a quarterback that's not capable of diagnosing a defense pre-snap and changing the play. That's literally part of your job description.
And that's exactly what Aaron was saying when Matt LaFleur got hired, and the media made this big deal about that Matt LaFleur's not going to let Aaron change the play at the line, right? And then they go to Aaron and go, hey, what do you think about Matt not letting you change the play? And what did Aaron say? Well, I mean, I got 14 years, 16 years of NFL experience. I don't think you want to turn that off, right? You want to utilize that. And then, of course, Matt comes back and scolds the media. Man, y'all making a big deal out of this, ain't you? And lo and behold, we go into the season and Aaron's up there changing the play, and they're on the same page or seeing the same thing, right? So,
yep.
Yeah.
And he was running LaFleur's offense, by the way, right? Like we've talked about. They had those conversations and they married some of those concepts that Aaron was comfortable with. And that's really when he hit those MVP numbers, man. It clicked for the Matt LaFleur and Aaron at that point. So I'm all for it. I'm not gonna sit there and have that argument. We've learned what the truth is, right? Hindsight's 20/20. We know the facts,
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, anytime you hear this stuff and you think, is that true? That the truth is always on the tape. And if you don't have the all 22, you can still get the truth off the broadcast, guys.
Yep.
Like, just take your eye off the ball and focus on what's actually happening on the field. Like, that's what we did with the pass rush this year. And that's why we did not freak out over the pass rush. We were laughing and roasting people, going, boy, they don't know what the hell's going on. They're just kind of – it's the same thing going into the upcoming season where the media was, man, they're going to be playing very aggressive press man. And we're going, no, they're not. No, they're not. And here's why they're not. It's not that we're so damn smart. It's the answer is on the tape. He didn't do it at BC. Nobody in the NFL does it. This is not just going to be a magical thing. I know you wanted to write your article and get some clicks, and you did good. Good job, bub. But that's inaccurate information. That's not going to happen. So
coverages through week 15. Look at that left side. Can you circle that? You got a little cursor you put on the screen there, Clayton?
We just have those kind of technological advancements.
I was going to say, look at the Packers there. Look at that man coverage.
Yeah.
See a lot of man coverage there?
20%.
Nope.
Yeah, what's crazy too is the folks that were saying that going into the year, right? We're making it sound like we're going to rewrite the coverage book for the NFL. We're going to play so much man. And then when you look at that heat map that Tim just had up, we're as cold as anyone in man coverage. Like, look at that. Like, that's as light of blue as you're going to find on this chart, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're talking 3% cover 0 and 17% cover 1, 0% cover 2 man. 20% of the snaps, again, man cover. So, anyway, we're over. Appreciate y'all. I could talk ball with y'all all day, man. The chat has been absolutely awesome. We appreciate y'all more than you know. We'll be back most likely tonight. I'll try to keep you guys up to date. We may go live again at 7. I want to look at the college slate, and also we got some really good football on. We may just take the night off, but that's why we want to do it. Definitely want to do a double episode today. Tim, I'll let you know as soon as I find something out. And as we always say, man, if you can't make it, no big deal, man. If you got plans with the wife, do your thing, all right?
For sure. Thanks,
All
Clay.
right, man. Nick McSwain said this show sucked. Thanks, fellas. Have a good day. So we'll be back maybe tonight, definitely tomorrow morning. We will get you guys ready for a full day of football tomorrow as well. Thank you, Fred. Appreciate you, buddy. You guys are awesome. Drew, good to see you in here, man. And thank you for sending that, Drew. I was going to share it, actually. I tweeted it, but I didn't share my Twitter page yet. So we may do that tonight if we go live. Drew sent me something over there, building a new gym over in Titletown. Really cool. So
you
can go over there and work out. You know what I mean, Tim? I don't do that type of stuff much.
Go there and pretend to work out. Just use the hydrotherapy and, the nice cafe they're going to have over there. Get you a smoothie.
Exactly. Yes, smoothie. All right, guys, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all either tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll let you know. Be looking for the link to drop. And obviously, Monday's going to be a busy day. We'll be doing a pregame show and a postgame show. It's going to be a lot of fun as the Packers get ready for the Saints. Everybody have a great day. Bye.
And we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.